At the end of the Tournament of Power, the Saiyan Goku made a great team with the Emperor of Evil, Frieza. They were able to take over the Great Victory of Universe 7, while the Android 17 had asked to revive all the universes. After a while, Frieza had returned to planet Earth, accompanied by a powerful Saiyan.
Today, Son Goku, you will be defeated by a being of the same race, because he has much more potential than you, and is even more powerful than you. Don't say stupid things, Frieza. I've been able to reach the Ultra Instinct. Even you won't be able to face me, so get out of here!
How is it possible that there are more Saiyans? I thought the last pure-blooded Saiyans were Kakarot and I.
Your father, King Vegeta, exiled us, because he was afraid of the power of Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. But thanks to Mr. Frieza, we can have our revenge. Prince Vegeta, with a great speed, would try to end the life of Broly's father, but Broly, with his great power, was able to grant him an incredible blow, which made Vegeta retreat a few meters because the power of the fist was overwhelming.
Apparently, I've used the Super Saiyan to beat you. Feel honored.
Vegeta would access the Super Saiyan. The battle would become much more even. However, the incredible adaptation of Broly was unreal, since at every step of the battle, he was able to get above Vegeta. Broly's anger would exceed the limit of his emotions, so that at that instant, Broly would get out of control, accessing the legendary Super Saiyan.
No, Broly! Stop! Stop! Don't keep releasing more power!
Even all his father's words were in vain, as Broly's power continued to increase. So much so that even Goku would put on a very serious look. Where did you get such powerful warrior from? Vegeta, we'll have to merge, since even with the Super Saiyan Blue, we'll not be able to cope with it.
Don't give me orders, Insect. You know I hate merging with you.
While both Saiyans were arguing, Broly with a great speed was able to throw hundreds of energy spheres. Since his power had to be expelled, Goku and Vegeta, with great difficulty, were able to dodge all the energy attacks. But Broly, with it, if he were a beast, would take Vegeta's face, sinking it with incredible force. Goku, with a kick, would try to move it away, but was not able to do anything to him. Vegeta, when accessing the Super Saiyan Blue evolution, was able to free himself, but with a great difficulty.
Damn, Kakarot. Alright, let's do the fusion. Apparently we have no other alternative.
Both Saiyans quickly threw a combined attack towards Broly, creating a large smoke screen, quickly merging, appearing as the powerful Gogeta.
I'm neither Goku nor Vegeta. I'm known as the Beast Tamer, and I'm the one in charge of finishing you, damn beast.
The battle of both warriors was incredible. The whole planet Earth trembled. Even their powers reached the planet of the god Beerus.
Hey, Whis, let's go immediately to Earth. The powers that seem to be released are at another level. I could dare to assure that overcoming most of the gods.
As you order, Mr. Beerus, at this moment we're heading to the planet Earth. Both deities would come to the planet Earth at a great speed. Meanwhile, the battlefield was full of lava, volcanoes, because their fists were able to create a few volcanoes.
I'd love to have more time to give you good manners, but I don't have time for this, so I'll finish with a single attack.
Gogeta would access the Super Saiyan Blue, with which he would join his hands to perform a powerful attack. Broly, without being left behind, in the same way, he would begin to channel a large part of his power, to be able to face the power of Gogeta. However, the clash of both attacks created several dimensional portals. Gogeta was able to super Broly, but when Broly was about to die, he would be teleported, thanks to the desire of the Dragon Balls, but to the planet Earth. A great portal would approach, so Gogeta would rise in the atmosphere of the planet, and with a great power, he was able to reduce the size of the portal, not being dangerous for planet Earth.
Well now, I have to go back to the planet, so that this dimensional portal doesn't absorb me.
Gogeta, with a great speed, would begin to fly towards the planet, but unfortunately the fusion would end at the precise moment, so both warriors were about to be absorbed. Goku, with great speed of reaction, would throw an attack at Vegeta, taking him away from the portal. So Goku would be absorbed, and at the moment that portal would disappear, Vegeta, being without energy for that battle against Broly, would fall to planet Earth very badly injured.
Damn, Kakarot. Where the hell have you been sent? My body hurts. I'm not even able to move a single one of my arms. My bones are all shattered.
Meanwhile, in a very different dimension, we can observe a small blonde-haired warrior who calls himself Meliodas, the leader of the 7 deadly sins, who was in his tavern talking with a beautiful woman named Merlin, who was part of the same group. But Captain, Escanor's power has increased in an amazing way. Even at this moment, he's fighting against one of the commandments.
It'll be better to go and find out if everything is in order, since the power of Escanor at noon is incredible. Even I in my assault mode would not be able to defeat him.
But when both beings were about to be transported to the Great Battle of Escanor and the Galand commandment, from heaven, Son Goku would fall near the tavern as if it were an asteroid. He would create a great disaster all around, which would attract the attention of Merlin and Meliodas. Even Hawk, who was in the tavern sleeping, would come out to observe what happened.
But if it's a person, he must be dead, because at that speed and that power, no one would be able to survive.
But they were shocked when they observed the warrior moving slowly, but everything around him was covered with blood.
Where am I? Damn, I've exceeded my body. I'm not even able to move.
Goku would be out of combat, so Meliodas nimbly was able to enter the crater carrying him and put him on a bed so he's able to recover.
Merlin, what happened to Escanor? Do you think you're capable of being able to cure him?
Answering your first question, the result was obvious, Escanor. He was able to defeat both commandments. While your second question, I'm not clear, since this warrior exudes absolutely no magic, so I don't know how he's alive.
But Merlin, that's impossible. Everyone has a little magic.
Even if they're not sorcerers, they're born with that ability. I understand, Captain, but the weird thing is that his entire internal system is healing him on his own, because when I tried to heal him with my magic, I was completely rejected. I have a lot of questions. What a strange subject. Meanwhile, on the planet Earth, Beerus and Whis arrived, watching as Vegeta was lying on the ground on the verge of death.
Wish him away. He's about to die.
Whis, with his staff, was able to heal him quickly, so after a few minutes, Vegeta was able to react standing up.
Mr. Whis, thank you for your help, otherwise I would have died. What happened there, Vegeta? And why am I not able to feel the power of Son Goku anywhere?
Vegeta was able to explain everything that happened, from the battle with Broly to when Goku was swallowed by that dimensional portal.
This is a problem. It won't be easy at all to fix. Why does Mr. Beerus say that? Whis is able to open dimensions with his staff, so it shouldn't be anything complex to find Kakarot.
Mr. Vegeta, I will explain it quickly. Opening a dimension is simple, you are correct. But something more complex is to look for a dimension, since there are millions of dimensions similar to being, and millions that even have nothing to do.
This is even for the High Priest Daishoken-sama would be complicated. Damn insect. Hope you don't die and survive.
Returning to Goku, he began to react to noticing the place where he was.
Where am I? I don't feel the ki of any of my friends. My head hurts a lot. But if you've woken up, this is a surprise, since you've only been resting for 12 hours and your injuries seem serious. A talking pig? Where the hell am I? If this is a dream, someone wake me up. Stop yelling! Haven't you heard of a talking pig?
Well, now that you say it, you're right. In Universe 10, there was a pig-like being that was able to talk. Even most of the destroying gods are animals.
Hawk, what happened?
We heard some screams, but... Oh, I see you've woken up. How are you feeling?
Well, apparently you're the ones who helped me. I'm very grateful to you. My name's Son Goku, or I'm also known as Kakarot. You have a very weird name, but that doesn't matter. I'm Meliodas, and I'm the owner of this tavern, and she's my sister Merlin.
Nice to meet you, but I have several questions. Sorry to be so direct.
Sure, don't worry, since I also have several questions since I don't understand anything.
How is it possible that there's absolutely no magic in your whole body, since that's indispensable to survive? So you give me two alternatives. You're a robot, or you're from another planet.
Merlin, stop saying stupid stuff. How are you going to say that to our guest? Magic? They don't use ki here? Where the hell am I?
Meliodas' look would change from smiling to a more serious one because he didn't understand what he meant.
What do you mean? Do you master another kind of magic called ki? This isn't magic. It's the energy that's used from where I'm from. But to tell the truth, I'm not able to feel the power of any of my friends.
We don't know where you're from, but you just fell from the sky with great speed and power.
Now I remember. Vegeta and I merged to defeat Broly, but the fusion, when finished, I was absorbed by a portal that was near the planet Earth. Merlin, is what you're saying possible? Is it possible to travel between dimensions?
I don't know, Captain, but to be honest, it's the first time I ever heard of magic or energy called ki, and his outfit's very different from the one we usually wear.
Thank you for helping me, but I'll try to return to my dimension. Since I can't stay in this place, I have to train to become much more powerful. I understand, but what do you think if we have a match? Since I can't see your muscles, you must be very powerful, and I want to test your power. Captain, don't do it! It may hurt him, and we won't be able to do anything to help him. You don't have to if you don't want to, Goku. Don't worry, Merlin. This will be useful for me to stretch my muscles a bit, but surely it won't hurt you if I use my power. You're talking to one of the most powerful beings in this whole place, so don't worry about that. Okay, then you can attack whenever you're ready. Meliodas, a little annoyed since it seemed that his opponent was underestimating him, he would throw himself quickly, starting with his great attack, but to everyone's surprise, Goku was able to dodge each one of his attacks without difficulty. Meliodas would use a little of his demonic state to be able to balance the battle a little more, but despite all his efforts, these seemed to be in vain. So you could transform. Do it, because otherwise this battle will be very boring. But attack me! Don't underestimate me. I've realized that your power is much higher than mine, but it'll not be easy for you to defeat me. If you really want me to attack you, I will. I hope you're prepared. Goku would start attacking, but he had his power at the lowest, and by this oversight, Meliodas was able to connect a powerful blow in the face of Goku, which sent him to the sky. Ah, that hurt me, really. This is not an ordinary being, but I'll throw a Kamehameha at him to end this combat. Goku, when throwing his attack, he noticed with a smile, he would draw on Meliodas' face while returning to normal. Get this! Fight back! Meliodas' special ability, which was able to return any attack to twice its power, was a success, as he had successfully caught up with Goku, making him fall to the ground. Captain, I told you not to overdo it with your power, as it may end this warrior's life, and I have to examine him. But Goku, with a great leap, was able to completely pull himself together. That was amazing! You're able to return my attack at twice the power! What kind of technique is that? How are you able to move after such a big attack? Oh, that's nothing. I've suffered much more powerful attacks. Goku, what are you really like? Since you have the appearance of a human being, but for the stamina you have and the abilities, I doubt that you're an ordinary human. I don't know if they exist in this place, but I'm a Saiyan. I'm a being of a warrior race. For that reason, our bodies are designed to have much more resistance than other races. And that means you really are an alien. Well, it could be said that. Hey, Goku, wouldn't you like to join us on this great journey we have? While you find a way to get back to your timeline? Okay, I'll join you, since you seem to be nice people, but tell me, are you at war with someone, or for what reason do they call this Travesia? We are the 7 deadly sins. We're gathering this whole team, as very powerful beings have broken free from a powerful seal, and we must end them before they continue to end the lives of innocent people. But how do they know that they're ending the lives of innocent people? Since, to be honest with you, I'm not able to perceive any energy. Well, that happens because the energy that you possess is very different from our energy, but I'll show you with that sphere. When Goku observed the sphere that Merlin had pointed out to him, he was able to realize how these, who would call themselves the group of the 10 Commandments, fed on the souls of the human beings to be able to recover the power that they had lost in all this time sealed. They are cursed! I have never seen such a cruel act, feeding on the souls of others. That is no forgiveness. I swear I'll annihilate them if I have in front of them. Merlin and Meliodas were surprised to realize how the whole sky was getting dark and hundreds of rays were starting to fall around Goku. While this whole earth was shaking, that's right, it was the first time in that place such a great power was felt. This warrior will be a great help to the group of the 7 deadly sins. Goku, please calm down, because if we defeat them, we'll be able to make those souls return to their owners. Goku would control himself, but he would still be in a great rage, so his look was very serious. Of course I'll join you. I won't allow those who human beings are treated as if they're worthless. In that case, you will be the 8th cardinal sin. With which animal or beast do you symbolize yourself? You know, Zaru. I know they don't know what that is, but they'll find out very soon.
Goku would be the 8th cardinal sin, symbolized by the Ozaru of the supreme power. Meanwhile, in a very distant place, there were 10 beings resting. That's right, there were 10 commandments. Their leader, Zeldris, would stand up. Meliodas. He has betrayed us. Being the leader of the 10 commandments, he preferred to ally himself to the side of the goddesses. and this is no forgiveness. We will have to end him.
It would be very cruel to end the life of our own brother, but he was the one who sought this inevitable end, and we will be able to do nothing with him.
This was said by a peculiar white-haired warrior, who, as soon as he finished his sentence, was able to make a small bird explode, which had even mutated. I want them to be at the maximum of their abilities. Being since sealed but for hundreds of years, we don't have our magic even at the average level of a demon. All the commandments, they began to absorb the magic of all the human beings that were around the place. Meanwhile, Meliodas was able to find Ban, the fox of the Seven Sins capital.
Captain, long time no see!
They both started to fight, but it was their normal greeting as Goku was about to intervene.
Don't worry, that's a normal thing between them since they're best friends.
Oh, I understand. But what a peculiar way to greet each other.
Captain, who is this guy? I want to introduce you to the newest member of the Deadly Sins. He's Son Goku, the 8th Deadly Sin.
Ban would be very surprised by the captain's response, but thinking that Goku was a weakling, he'd approach the same.
I can tell that you're kind of muscular, but that doesn't define if you have the powers to be one of us. As even holy knights, we tried and no one has been worthy.
I can understand that you want to check my power, and for me it's fine. Let's have a little battle.
This will be interesting, and I'll be able to analyze Goku a lot more since we have fought. I wasn't able to clearly see his movements. I'd never deny a battle, much less the being who would be our new partner, but you better be prepared since I'm not gonna have mercy.
Ban, you better not get complacent, as he is really powerful. Goku would start with a warm-up. Being able to move all his limbs, Ban quickly would start attacking, being in vain, since each of his punches were not strong enough to be able to at least scratch Zoro.
Zoro's punching fist!
Ban's fist went to Goku's chest, but his fingers were completely shattered upon making contact with his body. Ban would quickly retreat.
I realize you're a tough guy, but what do you think about this? Feast of the Hunter!
Ban's power had increased in an amazing way, while Goku noticed that his power had decreased slightly.
This technique reminds me of when one of Babayidi's warriors wanted to absorb my power, and I made him explode, but this being uses it much more in limited capacities. What the hell? How is it possible that you have so much power? I'm not able to move at all, and I feel like my body's gonna explode.
Goku, with quick movement, was able to grant him hundreds of very light blows, but he had sent Ban flying with parts of his body destroyed. Goku would put on a worried look.
Oh no, I've overdone it, and apparently ended his life. What'll I do now? That was a great match, and don't worry about Ban, as he's known as Ban the Immortal, so there's never a problem whatsoever.
But everyone was surprised to realize as Ban, despite having recovered, kept complaining. Even Merlin would try to soothe his pain with magic.
The power of Goku really possesses is incredible, so much so that even the body of an immortal is able to withstand it.
Meliodas had taken Ban to rest in one of the rooms of the tavern. While they were heading to the sacred land in search of Meliodas' seal power, in the course of the way, King of the Sloth Bear would meet all the warriors.
So you are headed to the Holy Land. I'll be with you. Because of the return of the 10 Commandments, it will be dangerous to be apart.
You're right, King, because it would be better to be united, because that way we're much more powerful, and we won't stay defeated so easily.
They had already reached the sacred land in which, above the head of Meliodas, a giant pearl could be observed.
I hope you're ready, Meliodas, to regain all your demonic power. You have been able to complete the control of self-tests, and you're worthy to reclaim what is yours again.
Meliodas would remember how his tests of self-control were, since in front of his eyes, the woman of his life was snatched away again and again, to the point of completely controlling his emotions. The goddess was able to release all the power of Meliodas, which would begin to penetrate the whole body. Beginning to increase its power so much was the increase of magic. On this occasion, the 10 Commandments was able to feel the power of Meliodas.
Now that's definitely him, since Meliodas' power was sealed by the looks of it, but he doesn't know how powerful we are.
Meliodas was able to master his power completely, so he would ask to go to see the 10 Commandments. Merlin would fulfill his request by teleporting him for a few seconds. At the moment of arriving, Zeldris and Farin launched themselves against him, but it was completely in vain since Meliodas was able to dodge them with a little difficulty.
They better not do their own thing, since we don't think we'll tolerate them ending the lives of innocents. They better not look for Garland,
since he's been defeated by one of the 8 deadly sins. Estrosa would stand up, or Merlin's technique would be activated, with which Meliodas would return to the Sacred Land. And tell me, Meliodas, how would you see the 10 Commandments? Do you think it'll be easy or a complicated battle? The power of the 10 Commandments has always been incredible, as they are the elite of the Demon King, being equaled only to the Dark Knights.
But Captain, if we first attack, with Goku's power, I'm sure we'd be able to do something.
No, Ban, it's not time yet, but very soon we will. Meanwhile, Gloxina, one of the commandments, would leave together with Droll, since both were not yet able to recover all their magic. So they decided to form a tournament in which Gloxinia, being the fairy king of the past, would grant a wish to the winner of the tournament. While Droll, being a giant, would form a huge labyrinth, the deadly sins upon hearing the news would come in the same.
We don't have to allow them to be able to recover all their magic, as they only do it to become more powerful.
Okay, it'll be better to go and stop them. Goku is right. Likewise, we are the deadly sins.
That's right, Captain. Of course, we'll be able to do it.
I'm only worried about what the tournament is at night, and I won't be able to use my power to defend myself. I feel like I'll be a hindrance.
Don't worry, we're all a team, and we'll be able to help each other. That's how everyone quickly left for the tournament, in which, when they arrived, they realized how the parades they were not able to cross. So, the duo of Ban and Meliodas were able to cross the wall without any effort, which would bring out a smile in Goku. I don't know which world I've fallen into, but this is getting more interesting every time. The wall would be destroyed, but at the moment, Gloxinia would form several teams of a couple, so that they would fight among themselves. Goku, not possessing magic, would not be counted as a participant, so the combats would continue normally until the moment in which Escanor, with his great determination, was able to invoke his sacred sword Rita, which would illuminate the whole night, as if it were a great sun. But Escanor would nimbly throw his great attack against both commandments. Meliodas, this, in the same way, would try to end the life of both, while everyone else would be locked up underground. No, this can't be happening. Mr. Meliodas won't be able to do anything against the 2 commandments. But one of the magicians was able to observe how, despite being 2 against 1, Meliodas was beating them. But it'd be better to get out of there. When Goku was about to destroy the barrier that had them locked up, the same magician was able to teleport them very far from the place. Droll and Gloxinia, whatever they've been promised, they will not fulfill them, so they'll die in vain. But I'll free them from their tragic fate by ending their lives myself. But Meliodas, about being able to finish with both commandments, everyone else came to the battlefield. Already having their magic to the maximum, Zeldris, the captain of the 10 Commandments, in a quick movement was able to cut off the arm of the brother Meliodas, while another commandment was able to tie his spirit to the battlefield.
Chains of Fate, activation!
While a blonde-haired girl would start giving him hundreds of blows. That's right, it was a special technique called Star Combo, which the more blows gave his victim, his power doubled. Meliodas would fall to the ground very badly injured, but with his mouth, he would be able to take his sword. This is the technique used against Hendrickson, but on a much larger scale. The great technique that in the past was able to finish off the demon Hendrickson, on this occasion was neutralized by a single hand of his brother, Estarossa, the commandment of love. I'm sorry, dear brother, but today you'll have to die, and I won't let you make fun of us again. Estarossa would reveal the whole story of Meliodas, while his friends, thanks to the magician, were able to see and hear everything that happened. Estarossa, with one of his techniques, would begin to insert several arrows into the body of Meliodas. The high-level demons, we possess 7 hearts, but when we're all destroyed, they have no other destiny than death. I can't help but watching this. Damn! Goku would quickly use teleportation, so he would begin to move at incredible speeds, quickly reaching the battlefield, holding the hand of Estarossa. You better calm down, murderer. Right now I'm gonna finish with all you. Zeldris quickly pounced against Goku, but to his surprise, Goku, with only one of his fingers, was able to stop his sword. He would be upset. He would free himself from Goku's grip, so both brothers launched themselves against Goku. But Goku, by releasing his pressure a little, was able to make them all fall to the ground completely, without the hope of moving in the least. I'm not in the mood, so if you don't want to die, you better do everything I tell you, because I'm the most powerful cardinal sin of all. all the other commandments without caring the least about Goku's words. They launched into the attack, since from their point of view, they were not going to allow any simple human to give them orders. One of the commandments would throw a large sphere of magic in the form of a dragon, but Goku, with one of his hands, disintegrated it without any difficulty. Jirai would use his combo of blows again, but against Goku it was totally in vain, since for Goku it was absolutely nothing.
I have no other choice. I will use the demonic invocation, Sacrifice of Hearts.
Monspeed, one of the most powerful commandments, had renounced 6 of their hearts, exchanging them for an amazing destructive power, which would make him mutual Jirai when observing his companion, would likewise use the demonic invocation. Both began to transform, while Goku watched without any concern.
These warriors are absolutely nothing. Their power is compared to Gohan's power when we fight Majin Buu. They're no threat to me. Damn, I can't believe that we're the so-called 10 Commandments are humiliated by a mere human. This is unforgivable.
He would try to stand up, but despite all his efforts, they were useless. While in the underworld, the Demon King was watching everything that happened, being very thoughtful.
I don't know how Meliodas has been able to ally himself with someone as powerful as that warrior is, but I have to end Meliodas' life as of place, so that he loses those stupid emotions.
The Demon King will transmit much more power to Estarossa, so that he'd be able to finish with Meliodas.
I've only one chance. It must be with that damn human that's distracted by the others.
One of the commands would cause a great explosion, with which a great smoke screen would be formed.
It's time. Meliodas dies. Demonic revelation.
A gigantic dark-colored sword would quickly descend towards Meliodas' chest. Goku, not being able to perceive the magic clearly, he was not able to do anything, because when he realized it was too late, that's right, the great sword of Estarossa was able to completely pierce him, destroying his 7 hearts with a single impact.
If you want to kill me, do it, but our task is done.
Goku's gaze would completely cloud over. When he remembered how Meliodas had welcomed him to his house, granting him food, Goku would cry out angrily, and frustration had access to the Super Saiyan, with which he was able to make everything around him tremble, even the planet they were.
This is amazing. Goku's power is able to do all this. Why do I change his hair to golden?
This warrior really hides too many secrets. Goku, with an incredible great anger, would release a pressure so suffocating that he had even destroyed all the bones of the 10 Commandments.
I don't know who the hell you are, but what I'm sure is that you're not human. You're something that goes way beyond that.
You shouldn't be interested in what I am. They should only know that I'll be the one who'll end each of their lives.
Goku, being approaching the 10 Commandments, was surprised to realize how the commandments would disappear.
Damn it. Since I'm not able to master that energy called magic, they're able to escape without me noticing.
Goku would return to his base state approaching Meliodas, but when he was about to arrive, the goddess Elizabeth would have him in her arms, while tears ran down her cheeks.
Damn, even though I was so powerful, I wasn't able to protect Meliodas.
That tragic day had passed quickly, in which everyone was in the tavern a little thoughtful. However, Ban would approach Goku.
I know everyone's curious, but I'll ask. How can you change your hair from black to gold? And where have you been able to expel that power from? Just as I've told Meliodas and Merlin, I belong to a warrior race called Saiyan, and we are able to transform and even possess the divine energy.
Do you mean to say that the power of a god flows through your body?
You're correct. It's my most powerful transformation. Since the Ultra Instinct, I'm still not able to completely master it.
Do you think you could show us that transformation with divine energy?
But can we learn it? Or that's impossible.
Goku, without paying attention to what Ban said, would start accessing the Super Saiyan Blue, with which he had illuminated everything around him in a blue color, while a pressure in the air felt.
Even now that it's noon, and my power is at its highest point, I'm not able to feel terror in the face of that pressure.
And this is the Super Saiyan Blue.
Goku had shown them his most powerful state so far, because the Ultra Instinct was not able to access it. Son Goku, 8th Cardinal Sin, I have too many questions for you, but do you really possess the power of a god in your veins?
Why do you doubt it, Merlin? I've taught them even now the power of a god.
What happens that I would love to experiment with you. If you claim to have the power of a god, my new potions should have an amazing effect. But at the moment, a big explosion in the main castle would be present. So everyone quickly came to save the others. However, while Goku was quickly mobilizing, was surprised noticing how Meliodas was fighting against 2 commandments. At the moment of Goku approaching, he would notice how Meliodas, with his famous counterattack technique, an incredible fire dragon would return to him, which had left both commandments very badly injured. Goku, a little confused, would approach Meliodas.
Meliodas, is that you? How's that possible? I saw how you died. Don't worry, Goku. The only thing is to know that now all the sins are reunited, so there's nothing to worry about.
Meanwhile, in the castle, Merlin likewise would reveal his true origin, so 2 of the commandments tried to escape being impossible. So Merlin of a great whirlwind was able to capture one of the commandments. However, in all this time, Meliodas had come close enough to the castle, finding the original form of Fraudin, one of the commandments, which was able to leave the body in which he was hiding, for the love of the son who had that body.
Meliodas, you can kill me. There's no need to fight, because I know that compared to you, your power, I'm nothing.
Since Meliodas came back, I've seen him a little strange, although I don't know what it is, but I have to find out.
Goku was surprised to realize how Meliodas' energy changed drastically, and with a single blow, he would pulverize his enemy.
I'm sure that's not the Meliodas I know.
So Goku would very slowly approach Meliodas, being both face to face.
Meliodas, what happened to you? You're not like that, and if you don't give me a logical explanation, I, the 8th Cardinal Sin, will have to stop you. Son Goku, you're very important to me, but currently the power I possess won't be able to do anything to me, so you better stay out of my business.
Meliodas would turn with the intention of leaving the place, but would be held by Goku's hand. Meliodas, without difficulty, would grant a big kick to the face of Goku, who was able to dodge it with great difficulty, taking a little distance.
I don't know what the hell happened to you, but I'm going to let them manipulate you, so I have to knock you out.
Both partners began to fight. Meanwhile, Merlin would communicate with Ban, the fox of the 7 deadly sins and Meliodas' best friend.
Ban, as an immortal being, you must go to the underworld, because every time Meliodas dies, he resurrects without his emotions, so on every occasion, he returns to be the demon he was before.
Understood, but how can I get to the underworld?
Hawk will be the one for you to get to the underworld. You have to look for the emotions of Meliodas and face the Demon King to return. I trust you, Ban.
Hawk, with a strange ability, was able to take Ban to the underworld, which was an extreme environment for any warrior, because even 1 minute in that place, it was 100 years. So it was impossible for any ordinary being, but not for Ban the Immortal. So he would start looking for the emotions of his best friend. Meanwhile, Meliodas, realizing that even with his true power, he was not able to do anything against Goku. He would take a little.
Son Goku, 8th Cardinal Sin, you're powerful. But now, I'll show you the power of the former leader of the 10 Commandments and the successor to Demon King.
The entire body of Meliodas would be covered with several dark marks, so that the state was called Assault Mode, or also known as the battle state of the leader of the 10 Commandments, since Meliodas in that state was able to even finish off goddesses with such ease that he'd split them in 2.
Mr. Meliodas, please, what's happened to you? I know that inside all that shell is that Mr. Meliodas I love.
You are of such quality, Elizabeth, but it's pity that I currently feel absolutely nothing for you, but I will fulfill my promise. What promise are you referring to? I'm not gonna let something bad happen to them, and I'll stop you. This is none of your business, Son Goku, but I plan to break the curses that were placed on Elizabeth and me because we are from different clans.
When Goku launched himself against Meliodas, he was surprised because on this occasion Meliodas was able to dodge absolutely all his attacks, and a big shadow would fall down behind Goku. So he would try to knock him out of combat, but it turned out impossible since Goku at the moment would access the Super Saiyan, with which he was able to ward off Meliodas.
I didn't think a guy from this place would be able to make me use one of my transformations. Apparently in my current situation, it's impossible for me to beat you, but don't worry, when I become Demon King, I want to fight with you again. I would not allow you to become a Demon King.
Meliodas would disappear from the place along with Elizabeth, appearing in the castle where the 3 brothers would see each other again after a long time, while Zeldris was sitting on the throne of the castle.
Ha 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 ha. Brother, how long? I can tell why you've come to this place.
I don't know what it is you want, but if you give me that goddess, I promise that I'll leave the position of the Demon King to you. Elizabeth's with me, and secondly, the position of Demon King belongs to me by law,
so nothing and no one will be able to do anything.
Both furious brothers rushed against Meliodas, but Meliodas, with the surprising pressure, would make them fall to the ground, and they weren't even able to move.
They won't be able to do anything against me, and as far as I can tell, even our teachers have returned from the underworld.
So both masters who trained Zeldris and Meliodas would make an appearance. Returning to the castle, Goku would return to his base state, but he was very intrigued.
I don't know how I can help Meliodas. The technique that steals his emotions looks like when Vegeta was manipulated by Babidi. But of this world, I know absolutely nothing. Goku, I know you're very worried about Meliodas, but I'll tell you how things really went.
Hundreds of years ago, the Holy War was started by Meliodas and Elizabeth. They were indirectly responsible, since it is forbidden for a demon and a goddess to form a couple. So the supreme deity, cursed Elizabeth, had to be reborn for eternity, and became enamored of Meliodas again. While the Demon King cursed Meliodas, every time he died, he began to lose his emotions to become the new Demon King.
I don't know who the hell those stupid bastards will be, but I want to have them in front of me. I'll tear them to pieces. I won't let them keep doing this to Meliodas and Elizabeth. It's good to know that we have someone who has such great powers as yours, but for now, we'll be able to do absolutely nothing.
It'll be better to return, since the castle has been completely destroyed. We cannot stay in this place.
Everyone would return to the tavern. However, after a few hours, Zeldris had in his possession the commandments of some of his companions. So Meliodas would begin to absorb each of his commandments, to become much more powerful. But at the moment the commandments began to enter his body, an incredible power would be felt all over the place, because the power of a commandment was gigantic. So much so that even Goku had realized the power of that.
We have to stop him. I can see how Meliodas' power rises in an incredible way.
But all over the place, Chandler, the master of Meliodas, would start heading towards the tavern, so the whole sky would darken.
I can't touch that damn goddess on Meliodas-sama's orders, but I can't take down her classmates' garbage so that they won't cause any more problems.
Chandler would arrive in a matter of seconds towards the tavern, in which he would prostrate himself on top of everything, while Goku had felt a huge power very close to them.
What is this power? Is the power of a demon capable of reaching those limits?
Goku would start walking towards the outside of the tavern, realizing that everything was dark, and because of this, Escanor had lost all his power.
Goku, we can now entrust you. I know you'll succeed.
Goku kept coming towards Chandler. Both warriors were face to face.
I can't feel any magic coming from you, so I plan to annihilate you in one fell swoop, so you won't interfere with Mr. Meliodas' plans.
I want to see that if you could do it, since you are trash next to me.
Goku would start squeezing his hands, so everything around him would start shaking. Due to the power he was increasing, Goku would expel his power from Super Saiyan Phase 2, which would leave everyone present very surprised, even Chandler.
Just by changing the color of your hair, you won't be able to do anything to me.
But Chandler, without being able to observe Goku's movement, had received a powerful blow which made him vomit absurd amounts of blood, being able to see only Goku's feet.
Ugh, that hurt me too much. Now I'll teach you, because we are considered the teachers of the next Demon Kings.
Chandler would expel a large part of his power, with which the sky would begin to turn from thunderstorms.
Goku, be careful. Since Chandler's power is even greater than the Demon King's power, you will be able to face him on your own.
I can tell that you still don't know anything about my Merlin. These bastards are not worthy to even observe the limit of all my power.
Furious, Chandler would pounce against him, but to his surprise, Goku was able to dodge each of his attacks. So Goku, with a powerful blow, had made him fall to an already destroyed part. While both were fighting, the Demon King was watching everything with incredible.
Who is this bastard? Even his power is much bigger than Chandler's power. If everything goes on like this, I'm sure we'll have to turn the original demon. And that's the last thing I want.
Returning to Meliodas, he was still at rest because he was not able to stabilize all the commandments. For his part, Estarossa, in the same way, had the intention of absorbing several commandments, but before he was able to absorb them, Grother, the cardinal sin of lust and symbolized by the goat, would reveal his true identity to Estarossa, who was the most powerful archangel male. But hundreds of years ago, Grother was able to use all his magic to change the same story and end it to the Holy War. Because if Meliodas joined the goddesses, the balance would be broken, and they needed a warrior just as powerful as Meliodas.
Zeldris realized the true identity of Estarossa
was heading to where he was, and before he was able to absorb more commandments, would deteriorate because the two of the commandments, his power had grown in an incredible way. Zeldris, regardless of the memories he had with his great sword, was able to annihilate him, leaving only Mael, the original Archangel.
In those conditions that Mael is in, she'll surely die, but it's not my problem. Now only 3 commandments are left to Meliodas.
Zeldris, at an amazing speed, quickly resorted to where Meliodas was, granting him 3 commandments of Estarossa, and even granting him his commandment.
I have done what you, father, asked me. Now we're just waiting for Meliodas to be the new Demon King.
Meanwhile, in the underworld, in that place, hundreds of years had already passed, we could observe a Ban with an extremely long beard.
I finally found you, Captain. Now we'll be able to get out of this damn hell.
Ban had found Meliodas as if it were a child, and it was the emotions, so both quickly began with their great plan to get out of the underworld and help all the other companions on the battlefield. However, the last battle was about to approach since Goku was about to end Chandler's life. He himself disappeared from the place, arriving at the castle in terrible condition.
Chandler, what happened to you?
Who has the necessary power to leave you in these conditions?
I can't believe it.
Chandler would be quickly treated with demonic energy so that he would be able to recover all his energy. Meanwhile, Meliodas, by possessing the 10 Commandments, would form a big cocoon, but this time it was much bigger.
Finally, the birth of a new Demon King is about to begin.
On the other hand, in the tavern, Goku was furious, so they decided that they would be the attackers this time. The warriors would get ready to be able to face them. The managers would be Goku, Merlin, and Escanor, who were with the resistance of the deadly sins. Goku, with the help of teleportation, was able to arrive in a matter of seconds, observing absolutely everything in the big cocoon in which Meliodas was.
I swear I'll finish every one of you bastards.
You are very powerful, but this will be a 2-on-2 battle since Chandler has informed us of the weak point of the guy who came in the name of Escanor.
That's right, at the moment the whole place would go dark, so Escanor's musculature had completely disappeared, being nothing more than a hindrance.
And now, yes, we'll be able to form the original demon. Original demon? I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Hundreds of years ago, the Demon King created the original demon, but by his power being so great, he tried to reveal himself.
So we were separated and given the task of training the underworld princes to be worthy of becoming Demon Kings.
Both masters had successfully merged, so the center would appear the original demon, whose power was extremely overwhelming, even for Goku.
With the power of the 2 Super Saiyans, I'll have no hope of doing anything against this bastard. I'll have to take my power to a higher level.
Goku would start screaming, so the whole place was shaking. That's right, Goku's hair would start growing while everything around him was destroyed. But it was absolutely nothing for the cocoon that Meliodas was in. Meanwhile, in the underworld, both warriors met Hawk's brother with Wild, the 3 being in front of the Demon King. They started with a great fight in which Wild had fallen on the battlefield, but it had been the perfect opportunity for Ban, the fox of the 7 deadly sins, to be able to get out of that place.
With the bastard out of the place, it'll be much harder for you to get out, Meliodas.
I don't think that's like you, Father, because if one attacks you from the inside and another from outside, we'll be able to defeat you.
Do you even know what my plan is?
That's right, since the 10 Commandments are only an extension of your power, what you really want is to have a powerful and young body again.
Goku had been able to release all his power, and a great light could be observed how Goku had access to Super Saiyan 3, while Ban, at their time of arrival, would realize as his beloved Elaine was about to be annihilated by several demons of lower rank.
Does anyone dare lay a hand on my beloved?
Ban, with a single movement, was able to end the life of the demons that were walking towards Elaine. That's right, the Fox of the 7 Deadly Sins was back. Ban the Immortal. Ban would take Elaine in his arms, while all the demons that were nearby would be completely annihilated. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Goku and Super Saiyan 3 had a pretty even battle with the original demon. However, all over the place, a big storm would appear, while in the same way, an amazing power could be perceived all over the place. A power that this time would even leave Goku very surprised.
Is that the power of Meliodas? That's a gigantic power. Nothing compared to when we first faced.
That's right, the Demon King was able to control all the 10 commandments. So his body had undergone a great change, and his power had skyrocketed in an incredible way.
Ha ha ha! I finally have a new body. Now if even you won't be able to face me so long without seeing you, original demon.
My lord, how long? And make a big apology for the last time I tried to reveal.
Don't worry, because thanks to you, we've been able to keep this warrior out. But today will finally come the day of his death.
Meanwhile, Ban would notice how Elaine's essence was beginning to disappear because she had resurrected by a commandment.
I don't mind ceasing to be immortal, and I'm not going to let you leave my side one more time. So I have to use the Fountain of Youth to bring you back to life. I will.
Ban would begin to channel the entire Fountain of Youth into his hand while remembering how he had met Elaine, the protector of the Fountain of Youth.
You risked everything for me, and I'll do it for you anyway.
Ban, by using the power of the Source, was able to keep Elaine. However, Ban the Immortal had lost his immortality, so Elaine, a little upset, would get in front of Ban.
Do you even know what you've done? You're stupid. My life's worthless if we all die.
Ban would take her in his arms, not allowing her to keep talking.
I don't care if I have to die or go to the same hell. For you, I would do it 1 in a million more times.
Elaine would blush at Ban's words, but despite being a very romantic moment, a loud rumble would be felt near both of them, and Ban would be a little surprised to realize how it was Goku who was getting up with multiple wounds on his body.
It hurt me too much. I have to quickly finish with that demon, because if he gets together with Meliodas, I'm sure I'll have several problems.
Damn it, that king was able to take over the captain's body.
Is it that Meliodas? If he was the one who absorbed all the commandments.
You're correct. Captain Meliodas abolished them, but the 10 commandments, they're fragments of the true power of the Demon King. So to unite them all, it is only to grant him a new body.
I know that Meliodas is very resistant, and he must keep fighting to recover his body. So right now I'll defeat you to weaken you enough.
The original demon had rushed against anyone else. However, Goku stood in front of the original demon. However, his gaze had completely changed.
What the hell's going on? Even the look of this guy's completely changed, and it generates an incredible terror in me. Even my legs are shaking.
You're a powerful guy. I never thought I would have to use this power in this world.
Goku, with a great blow, was able to make him completely retreat, with which the original demon had suffered incredible damage because the power of that blow had been so much that it had destroyed most of his organs.
Damn, you were holding me back?
Of course I was holding back. Even I still have 2 transformations that I don't use, since they're not worthy of seeing the divine power that I possess.
The original demon, with a lot of anger, would start lashing out with his 2 swords, but the result would be the same, since Goku was effortlessly able to dodge his attacks, while Ban was face to face with the Demon King.
It's amazing that you're able to stand in front of me without being bent by my great pressure.
From Meliodas' body, an incredible pressure would be released just as the air became toxic. All the other deadly sins took refuge in a barrier created by King.
Ban, it doesn't matter that you're immortal. If you're in that toxic air for too long, the Fountain of Youth won't be able to do anything for you.
It's a pity that he's no longer immortal, as he used all the power of this source to revive Elaine.
That means that if Ban dies, this time he'll do it forever.
The Demon King would realize that Ban was able to withstand his great pressure because he'd been able to enter the underworld, in which the pressure was hundreds of times more powerful than that of that place.
I could tell that because to withstand my pressure, but in the case I'll have to end your life with a clean fist.
That's only if you're able to achieve it, since even one of your most powerful demons is about to be defeated.
That's right, Goku had the original demon against the ropes, which this time he was no longer able to do absolutely anything. Goku, with great anger, would create an energy sword, with which he would completely dismember him.
It's time to end you, you miserable!
Goku would take a great impulse to the sky, and with descending at a great speed, he would charge 2 spheres of energies, with which he was able to evaporate the original demon. But moments before ending his life, the original demon undid this fusion, so Chandler and Cusack would be sent hundreds of kilometers by such a bestial attack.
Who is this guy? He's even able to defeat the original demon fusion.
Meanwhile, in the battle of the Demon King and Ban, both of them seemed to be very similar. But as the battle progressed, the Demon King began to be bent due to Meliodas from the inside of his body continuing to fight against his father.
Father, I'm not gonna allow you to take control of my body, much less do harm to my own body.
Damn it. How are you able to keep opposing? I've been able to recover the 10 Commandments. On the one hand, in the Celestial Kingdom, the supreme deity of that world was observing everything that happened. That warrior possesses an incredible power, with which he's able to wipe out all those damn demons. My lady, but won't that warrior be a problem for us in the same way? Of course not. Since the warrior is only pure muscle, we're capable of reasoning to win on the battlefield. Returning to the battlefield, Ban was able to corner the Demon King, so much that he was able to lose mobility for about a minute. Enough time to perform a combined attack between Meliodas and Ban. That powerful attack was able to almost pulverize even the body of Meliodas. The Demon King was able to expel all the 10 Commandments, which had fallen near Master Cusack. Zeldris-sama has to be the next Demon King. I won't let the bastards of Meliodas become the new king. Zeldris, despite being very badly injured for his battle against Escanor, he would try to stop him, since now he understood that the Demon King was only looking for a container. But it was too late, since at that moment, the 10 Commandments joined Zeldris, which at the moment was able to end the lives of Cusack and Chandler. His body turned out to be much more compatible with me, since even I have the full control, but it's not time to face these damned ones. The Demon King, with a great shadow technique, was able to disappear from the place, leaving no trace, so that the battle would be over, but the most powerful opponent was still loose in the kingdom. Meanwhile, in the dimension of Goku, the Z Warriors tried to use any method to bring back Son Goku, but it was impossible for them since even Shenlong was not able to fulfill such a wish.
Beerus, we have no choice. We have to inform the great Zeno-sama and Daishaken-sama, as they're the only ones with the necessary power to achieve it.
That's right, Beerus-sama. We'll have to go to the High Priest. Both deities quickly left the Kingdom of the All, which would be received by the High Priest upon arrival.
Deities of Universe 7, it's a surprise that you've around. Tell me, what has happened?
Father, how long without seeing you? We have a bad one about Son Goku.
What's happened to Son Goku? He's Zeno-sama's best friend. Nothing bad should happen to him, as even the integrity of the 12 universes may be in danger.
We know, Father. For that very reason, we've come to inform you of this unfortunate event. Daishaken, while listening to everything Whis would tell him, was a little surprised because the power to be able to open different holes to different dimensions must have been incredible.
That's a big problem. Of course, there is a solution, but it's a very complicated one, since there are millions of dimensions.
I understand, Father. We have only come to inform you of this event.
I appreciate the information, Whis. Now you can retire. In a few moments, I'll be around Universe 7 to solve what's happened.
Deities would quickly leave, while the High Priest was thinking how to find Goku, since it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Almost impossible.
I have to use the blood of his children to be able to form a path, to which Son Goku has been sent, since the blood is impossible for it to fail.
Returning to the tavern, Goku was very thoughtful due to the power that the Demon King had achieved. But at the moment, Meliodas was able to wake up, being the same as always, so he would thank each of his present. Thanks to everyone, and especially to you, Goku, who were able to stop me. Don't worry, but when all this is over, I want to have a combat with that new state you possess. Of course, Goku. It's a promise, but we have to expel my father from my brother Zeldris' body. Everyone was talking very relaxed, while Ban and Escanor were fighting against the Demon King.
Damn! The power of that fucker is even greater than when he was a captain of Meliodas' body.
Now that they won't be able to do anything, I plan to end their life one by one. For that reason, I was able to seal the tavern that everyone else is in. So, for that reason, none of our colleagues will have come with us.
Damn it, this bastard's gonna kill us.
I will not allow you to end the lives of innocent people. Right now, I will grant you the wish that you meet the One. Escanor's power would begin to rise to impressive levels, so much so that even the heat that was expelled by Escanor's body even forced Ban to move away, or he'd be completely charred.
Escanor, stop! Don't do something crazy! Your body's not able to withstand all that power, you'll die!
Dying for my companions is not a bad death, as I will not let this bastard hurt anyone else.
Escanor had reached the most powerful state, with which both began with a great battle, which seemed very evenly matched. However, Escanor's entire body was suffering consequences of using the power beyond his limits, so in each exchange of blows, large amounts of blood came out of his entire body.
Body resists a little more. Sunstrike!
An incredible blow was heading towards the Demon King, who with great difficulty was able to stop it, but the blow would begin to drag him all over the battlefield.
Demon sword summoning!
A dark-colored sword would appear, being able to destroy the scanner technique with a simple pressure, as it was a weapon of the highest quality. Returned to the tavern, King would go out to observe the panorama of everything that had happened, being amazed to realize how a great barrier of energy was covering the whole boar hat.
Captain, Ban, and Escanor are in danger.
Everyone else would leave the tavern, noticing the great barrier. Goku, upset, would charge an incredible power in his fist, being able to completely destroy it. The instant the barrier was destroyed, it could be perceived how the power of Escanor overflowed.
I don't care what I do, but this time, I'll finish with him. I won't let anyone else get hurt.
Goku would use teleportation quickly, with which he would reach the battlefield, realizing how Escanor was about to sacrifice himself for the entire team of the 8 deadly sins.
Goku, please protect Ban. There's nothing I can do to stop this power anymore, and I'd rather have the feat of taking the Demon King with me. Escanor, stop!
Without listening to Goku's words, he was able to create a powerful attack, which was the size of the sun, as well as the heat that radiated from it, that even Goku would form a barrier not to be affected.
Escanor, you're the proudest person I've ever met. I think you compare yourself to Vegeta, since he sacrificed for all of us at the same time.
Escanor's body received all the consequences of having used the power beyond its limits, so at the moment of finishing the attack, he'd begin to fade into nothingness, while Goku was very sad, but with a big scream was able to access Super Saiyan Blue, making everything around him shudder, because he was able to perceive the essence of the Demon King, which had hardly been left alive, but in front of it, Goku with a powerful blow was able to destroy his entire chest, so a lot of blood could be observed falling to the soil.
I swear I'll annihilate you. No matter what happens, I'll send you to the other world.
Goku, without any mercy, would begin to torture the Demon King, and with a strong kick, he'd been able to separate the head from his body. Goku would throw a great power towards the body of the Demon King, so while he was disintegrating, he tried to escape from the body of Zeldris.
It's now I will stop my father from escaping again.
Meliodas would accede to the status of Demon King, with which he was able to destroy each of the commandments, simply leaving Zeldris' body in terrible condition.
Damn it, I haven't been able to protect Escanor. I'm not a good companion.
Goku, you've done everything you could. You don't have to worry. I know that Escanor is in a better place.
But from the whole place, a large portal could be observed. That's right, Daishoken was able to connect other dimensions, managing to find Goku having raised all his power.
Mr. Goku, how long's it been since I saw you? I'm glad to know that you're in perfect condition. It's ready to return?
Daishoken-sama, so long, of course I'm ready, but before that, can I ask you a favor?
Of course, Goku, tell me.
You can retrieve a being from this world. His name's Escanor. He died to save all of us.
It's okay, Mr. Goku, don't worry.
Merlin would be surprised to realize how the being in front of them was even able to revive the dead. Daishoken was able to make Escanor appear in front of everyone, so he would approach Goku.
I have fulfilled your request, Mr. Goku. It's time to leave this dimension.
It was a pleasure to fight by your side, but if you need my help, press this button and I'll be right there, no matter where I am.
I appreciate your help, Goku. I hope someday to be able to know the world you come from.
Goku and Daishoken would enter the portal, appearing in the Kingdom of the All.
Thank you very much, Daishoken, for bringing me back. Now I'll be able to return to my friends.
Don't worry, Mr. Goku. You're the greatest Zeno-sama's best friend.
Goku would leave for his planet with teleportation, while in the world of the 7 deadly sins, Goku would be remembered as the legend that ended the Holy War. The confrontation between Whis and Ryuk intensified as space became the stage for their fierce cosmic battle. The clash of divine and dark energies echoed in the void of the universe, creating ripples that stretched to the far reaches of space.
You think you can stop me, Whis?
The master of divine martial arts, Whis, maintained his serene composure as he resisted the onslaught of the Devourer of Worlds disciple. His divine aura glowed brightly, fighting against the darkness that threatened to envelop him. Whis, with a wave of his hand, unleashed a blast of divine energy that forced Ryuk back momentarily. However, the smile on the dark being's face revealed that he was far from giving up.
Ryuk,
Your quest for power will only lead to destruction. Ryuk, releasing a sinister laugh, launched himself at Whis with renowned furiosity. Each exchange of blows was like a clash of titans, with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, Beerus was recovering from the wounds inflicted by Ryuk, watching the battle with critical eyes. The darkness that had pierced his abdomen was beginning to dissipate thanks to divine regeneration, but the experience had left an indelible mark.
This creature's more formidable than I imagined.
And determined not to be a mere spectator, Beerus joined the battle with renowned determination. His figure flashed with divine energy that rivaled Whis's, creating a spectacle of light and shadow in space. The three powerful beings engaged in a cosmic dance, with flashes of divine and dark energy illuminating the vastness of the universe. Ryuk, without losing his smirk, took advantage of his transformation to increase his speed and strength, challenging the gods with every move. The combat reached new levels of complexity when Whis, in a flash of cunning, unleashed a divine teleportation technique. He moved at the speed of thought, appearing and disappearing at different points in space, keeping Ryuk on the defensive.
Ugh, you can't dodge me forever, Whis.
As Whis and Ryuk clashed in space, Beerus focused on channeling his divine energy. The Destroyer God sank into a meditative state, concentrating on unleashing his true power. Beerus' transformation was gradual but impactful. His figure was enveloped in a golden aura, and his eyes shone with the intensity of a star. Divine power flowed through him, manifesting in a form that only the mightiest gods could attain, allowing the grievous wound left by Ryuk to be healed.
It's time to put an end to this.
The reborn Beerus lunged towards Ryuk with unparalleled speed. Each blow he delivered was imbued with overwhelming divine energy. Ryuk, though powerful, was overwhelmed by the onslaught of the Destroyer God. Meanwhile, Whis continued his cosmic ballet, defying the laws of space and time with his speed and agility. Every move was calculated, every blow strategically executed. The battle reached its climax as Beerus and Whis coordinated, combining their attacks to create a symphony of divine energy that enveloped Ryuk. The pressure in the air became almost tangible, and the cosmos itself seemed to rumble with the intensity of the conflict.
Do you have anything to say, Ryuk?
Ryuk, gravely wounded but still defiant, let out a shrill laugh. His figure writhed as the dark energy tried to resist the overwhelming pressure of the gods.
This is not the end, gods. My master will be released, and his darkness will devour all.
Beerus, showing no mercy, unleashed a sphere of concentrated divine energy and hurled it directly at Ryuk. The resulting explosion illuminated the space, dispelling the darkness that had lingered. Silence fell over the space as the gods watched the wreckage of the battle. Ryuk lay motionless, defeated, but not destroyed. His threat had been contained, at least for now.
This is not over. We need to find out more about his master and any threat that may arise.
Whis nodded, sharing the same determination. The reality of the danger that stalked the universe became more apparent, and the gods knew they had to prepare to face even greater challenges. The cosmic explosion that marked the end of the fierce battle dissipated into the vast space, leaving Whis and Beerus floating in momentary tranquility. As they regained their composure, a flash of gold announced the arrival of Daishinkan, the High Priest, who appeared before them with a serene but worried expression.
I see you've dealt with the threat, dear Whis and Beerus.
Yes, Father. Ryuk has been contained, at least for now.
But this isn't the end, is it?
Daishinkan smiled wisely as he held in his hands a strange artifact, a glowing sphere that emanated an energy like the one they felt during the battle.
This is what I wanted to show you. It's known as the Sphere of Divine Containment, an ancient artifact capable of sealing beings of great power and darkness.
Beerus and Whis watched intently as Daishinkan explained the function of the sphere and how it was used to keep the most dangerous entities in the universe at bay.
This artifact has been kept in safekeeping for eons. It's only brought to light in extreme situations. The dark energy they felt came from one of these sealed entities, released by Ryuk's recklessness.
Whis and Beerus exchanged worried glances as they assimilated the information.
Who are these sealed entities? They are beings from the distant past, fallen gods and creatures whose thirst for power make them uncontrollable. The sphere of divine containment is our safeguard against their resurgence.
So, Ryuk was one of them, and his master?
His master is the Devourer of Worlds, an even more ancient and dangerous being. His release could jeopardize existence itself.
The gravity of the situation hung heavy in the air as Daishenka continued to explain the importance of keeping the sphere of divine containment safe and sealing Ryuk again.
Now that Ryuk has been contained, it's crucial that he returns to his place of safekeeping. But we also need to get information from him. We need to know more about the Devourer of Worlds' plans and any threats that may arise.
Beerus, Whis, and Daishenkin shared a determined look. The task was not complete. There is still work to be done.
If interrogating Ryuk could give us answers, we'll do so, but we must proceed with caution.
The information we gathered will be essential to prepare for future threats. Also, we need to reinforce the security of the sphere of divine containment.
Daishenkin, with a nod of his head, showed his approval of the god's decision.
Very well. Let us return to the realm of all and set preparations in motion. The safety of the universe depends on us.
The three gods, with the glowing sphere in hand, teleported to the realm of all, ready to confront the shadows of the past and ensure the stability of the universe. The spheres of divine containment, now more than ever, became the beacon of hope amidst the darkness that threatened to emerge. Meanwhile on Earth, the Z warriors, divided into groups, scattered into the sky in the direction of the unknown presences they had sensed on the planet of the northern Kaio-sama. In the air, they moved at impressive speeds, ready to face any threat that crossed their path. On Kaio-sama's planet, Goku and Vegeta appeared thanks to teleportation, scarring Kaio-sama with serious and determined expressions. Kaio-sama, who was waiting for them, welcomed them with nervous gestures.
Goku, Vegeta, I'm glad you came so quickly. The information I have is crucial.
We need to know what this artifact is and what threat it poses.
We don't have time to waste. What do you know?
Kaio-sama nodded and led the Saiyans to his small home on the planet. Once inside, they unfolded an ancient scroll that revealed information about a mystical artifact known as the Cosmic Core of Containment. He explained that this artifact was used by the ancient gods to seal entities of great evil and power, preventing them from wreaking havoc in the universe.
This artifact is so ancient that there are hardly any records of its creation. It was thought to be lost, but apparently all this time it was hidden on planet Earth.
And how is it supposed to be sealed?
Tell us at once.
Kaio-sama explained that the Cosmic Core of Containment could be opened by a being of great power, but in doing so, the seal would be transferred to the first being it encountered. If the seal was not broken immediately, it would merge with that being, granting it power, but also binding it to the duty of keeping the evil sealed.
And how the heck did it end up in Goku's chest?
That's the puzzling thing. It seems that this artifact shows Goku as its carrier.
Goku, with an expression of astonishment, began to grasp the magnitude of the situation. He was now the bearer of an artifact containing an entity of indescribable evil.
So you mean I'm now responsible for keeping this evil under control?
What an honor, Kakarot! It seems you've become the guardian of evil.
But there is something else. The being sealed inside the urn is incredibly powerful. He is known as Bahamut, the Devourer of Worlds. It is an ancient entity that has consumed entire worlds.
The gravity of the situation was reflected on the faces of Goku and Vegeta. Not only did they have to face the mysterious artifact in Goku's chest, but also the dark entity sealed within.
Then we have an important task. We must keep Bahamut under control and, at the same time, figure out how to free ourselves from this burden.
Yes, make no mistake, Kakarot. If this threatens Earth, I'll not hesitate to stop you.
Meanwhile on Earth, the Z warriors faced unusual pressure as they prepared for combat. Each group was ready to deal with the entities they had sensed at Bulma's house, which were minions of Bahamut, the Devourer of Worlds. The dark energy surrounding these minions was intense, and the very air seemed to vibrate with their malevolent presence. The group of Krillin, Master Roshi, and Android 18 encountered one of Bahamut's 4 minions standing on the ground, humanoids with a black, malevolent aura. The Z Warriors prepared for the confrontation with Krillin, Android 18, and Master Roshi, adopting combat stances. In a chaotic dance of dark energy and flickering explosions, the confrontation between the Z Warriors and Bahamut's henchmen unfolded on the cosmic stage of Earth's defense. Krillin, Android 18, and Master Roshi, three warriors of varying experience and skills, faced a dark menace that threatened to plunge the planet into an abyss of destruction. The stage was permeated with a tense atmosphere as the three warriors assumed combat stances, ready to defend the Earth against Bahamut's henchmen, a being whose malevolent aura eclipsed even the intensity of the sun.
I don't know who you are, but we'll not allow you to harm our planet!
Krillin's words echoed in the air, charged with determination. Bahamut's henchman, a humanoid with a black, malevolent aura, advanced with ferocity, launching a dark attack. Krillin, in a display of amazing agility, dodged the attacks, moving like a gust of wind across the battlefield.
Kaizen!
In the blink of an eye, Krillin created his signature energy disc and launched it towards the henchman. Kaizen spun furiously, cutting through the air as it headed towards its target. However, the henchman displayed unmatched skill as he dodged the spinning attack, moving with an agility that defied comprehension. The henchman counterattacked with a series of dark, swift strikes, but Krillin was unwilling to give up. With precise and quick movements, he blocked most of the attacks, responding with quick and precise counterattacks. The combat dance between Krillin and the henchman painted a picture of speed and skill, where each movement could change the tide of the battle. Meanwhile, Master Roshi, the aged warrior with vast experience in martial arts, watched the confrontation with a knowing smile. He adopted a firm posture, waiting for his moment to intervene.
You've chosen the wrong man to fight. I've seen more battles than you can imagine.
As Bahamut's henchman lunged towards him, Master Roshi moved with unique grace, dodging the attacks with precise movements and counterattacking with a series of energy blasts. The old man's experience and cunning proved to be a formidable challenge for the henchman, who was forced to deploy all his skills to confront the master. On the other hand, Android 18, the android warrior with formidable strength, advanced towards the henchman with determination. Her eyes glowed with an intense blue light as she unleashed her powerful android energy.
Do not underestimate the strength of androids.
With a quick wave of his hands, Android 18 launched a wave of energy towards the henchman. The latter, though impressed by the ferocity of the android warrior, showed no signs of recoiling. Instead, it lunged toward her with surprising speed, throwing dark blows that Android 18 dodged with cybernetic agility. The battle between Android 18 and the minion was a display of strength and speed, the bursts of energy lighting up the sky. Both fought with an intensity that could shake the foundations of the universe. Meanwhile, Android 18, a formidable warrior created by Dr. Gero, was ready to demonstrate her immense power. She charged her energy, her body radiating a red glow, and lunged towards the henchman with determination.
Don't underestimate me. I'm stronger than you think.
The henchman responded with a sudden surge of his dark aura, unleashing a surge of energy that pushed Android 18 back. The force of the impact created a shockwave, kicking up dust and debris in its wake. The battle was intense. Every move had a purpose and every attack resonated with the Z Warriors' determination to protect their home. Explosions of energy followed one after another, lighting up the battlefield like fireworks in the dark night of space. However, the true magnitude of the threat was yet to be fully revealed. This henchman was only one of 4 sent by Bahamut, and the fate of Earth depended on the ability of the Z Warriors to pass this first test. On the horizon, the other 3 minions awaited their turn, ready to plunge into the fray and test their bravery and skills of Earth's defenders. The intensity of the battle increased with each moment, and while Krillin, Android 18, and Master Roshi fought against the henchmen, other groups of Z Warriors faced similar challenges in different locations around the planet. The fate of the Earth hung in the delicate balance of the unfolding cosmic battle, and each warrior was determined to give everything for the survival of his home. While the first group of warriors were defending Earth on Kaio-sama's planet in the small house, it was permeated with a tense atmosphere and solemnity as Goku, Vegeta, and Kaio-sama were immersed in the gravity of the situation. The ancient scroll spread out on the table revealed the secrets of an ancient artifact, and the weight now rested on Goku's shoulders.
So you mean I'm now responsible for keeping this evil under control?
The responsibility rested on Goku like a heavy mantle. The cosmic core of containment, that ancestral artifact, had chosen Goku as its carrier, and within it was Bahamut, the devourer of worlds. The gravity of the situation was reflected in the eyes of the Saiyan, who was already mentally preparing himself for a colossal task ahead.
What an honor, Kakarot. Seems you've become the guardian of evil.
The irony of Vegeta's voice did not go unnoticed. While his words might have been sarcastic, the determination in his eyes indicated that, despite any jokes, they were in this together.
But there's something else. The being inside the artifact is incredibly powerful.
The information left Goku and Vegeta silent. Bahamut, the name echoed in their minds like the distant echo of a coming storm. Consuming entire worlds was a threat they could not underestimate.
Then we have an important task. We must keep Bahamut under control and at the same time figure out how to free ourselves from this burden.
The pact was sealed. Together, Goku and Vegeta would take on the challenge of containing Bahamut and discovering a way to free themselves from the burden they now carried. The remaining question was how they would confront the dark entity that lay in Goku's chest. But before they could formulate a plan, a vibration in the air alerted them to the arrival of others.
It seems your friends are in trouble. Go help them.
Goku and Vegeta nodded in a gesture and understanding and, with serious expressions, headed for the door. With a mighty leap, they launched themselves into the sky, ready to join the battle raging on planet Earth. At the moment that Kaiosama gave the information to Goku and Vegeta, on Earth appeared another henchman of Bahamut who met with the duo of Tenshinhan. This henchman of Bahamut seemed to be an expert in dark martial arts. He moved with supernatural agility, challenging the Z warriors with swift and lethal movements.
Do not underestimate the strength of humans! Kikoho!
Tenshinhan launched his powerful Kikoho attack, creating an explosion of energy that enveloped Bahamut's henchmen.
This is no ordinary enemy. I must use my powers wisely.
Chaos unleashing his magic, creating illusions and distractions to confuse Bahamut's henchmen. The battle was unfolding on multiple levels, with the Z warriors fighting against this enemy who seemed to understand the combat arts in unexpected ways. At that moment, realizing that the power with which they were facing Bahamut's henchmen was not enough to stop him, thanks to Chaos's distraction, they took the opportunity to try to escape. But they did not count on the great speed of their rival who, realizing that they wanted to escape, caught up with them, disappearing from the place where he was and appearing in front of them. At the precise moment in which he was about to eliminate Chaos and Tenshinhan, two people appeared between them and their rival Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta, with their gazes fixed on Bahamut's henchmen, shared a silent understanding. The gravity of the situation was clear on their faces, but there was no room for doubt.
Tenshinhan! Chaos! Go and warn the others about this threat. We need time to deal with this.
We don't want them to get hurt because of us. Go! We'll take care of this.
Tenshinhan and Chaos nodded, recognizing the determination in the Saiyans' voices. Wasting no time, they sped away, leaving Goku and Vegeta facing their formidable opponent. Bahamut's henchman, emanating overwhelming darkness, showed no signs of backing down. His eyes glowed with malice, aware of the battle ahead. The Z warriors were prepared to face any threat, and this would be no exception.
It's clear that this won't be easy.
That's what makes it exciting. Let's do it, Kakarot!
Goku and Vegeta charged at Bahamut's henchmen with impressive speed. At the moment when both warriors were fighting a battle that could change the fate of Earth, this being who presented himself as Bahamut's henchman, this dark entity with a humanoid shape but a bird's head, was going to be surprised by the abilities of the Saiyan warriors. In the middle of the combat, of all the show of strength between both warriors and this dark being, Takagami, with a confused face but confident that his strength was far superior to that of these earthly warriors, thought, "I'm amazed at the strength these earthly beings possess. I guess they deserve to know who'll kill them." Then at that moment he told them with a malevolent smile, he said, "I've been surprised by warriors. That's why they deserve to know my name. I'm Takagami, sacred god of darkness, follower of the supreme god Bahamut." Goku, very surprised of what he's hearing, said,
"More gods? This sounds very dangerous, and it's exciting."
Bug, shut up! The life of this planet's at risk, and you get excited about a being that's very powerful.
The speed of the combat accelerated as Goku and Vegeta pounced on Takagami. The energy in the air became dense, vibrating with the intensity of the impending confrontation. Takagami, with his dark aura, stood his ground, disdainfully watching the approaching Saiyans.
Do you think you have a chance against the power of darkness?
Goku and Vegeta continued their advance, wasting no time in unnecessary words. In the blink of an eye, they were in front of Takagami, unleashing a gale of blows. Takagami, with surprising agility, dodged many of the attacks, but some managed to land, demonstrating the strength of the Saiyans.
Don't underestimate the power of a Saiyan!
Come on, God of Darkness. Show us what you can do.
Takagami responded to the challenge, unleashing his own fury. His speed and combat skills were amazing, deflecting the blows of Goku and Vegeta with subtle movements. The battle turned into a whirlwind of punches, kicks, and ki blasts, lighting up the sky with flashes of light and darkness.
They're just insects in front of the power of eternal darkness.
Goku in his base state and Vegeta, with their pride as the Saiyan Prince, continued to put pressure on Takagami. However, as the battle progressed, Takagami began to reveal more of his true power. His dark aura intensified, and his form subtly changed, revealing a transformation that increased his power exponentially.
This can't be good.
Goku, always excited for a challenge, added,
"Vegeta, get ready! This is getting interesting."
Takagami's increased power created an overwhelming pressure on the battlefield. His speed increased dramatically, and his strength eclipsed that of the Saiyans. However, Goku and Vegeta were not intimidated. With determination, they raised their own power of levels, taking the battle to new heights. The fighting continued with swift attacks and explosions shaking the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, now in more advanced forms, kept up the pace, challenging Takagami at every turn. However, despite his efforts, the sacred god of darkness proved to be a formidable adversary.
This is entertaining, but your resistance is useless. The darkness consumes everything.
Goku and Vegeta, without giving up, exchanged determined glances.
"Vegeta, it's time to go further."
Huh, of course, Kakarot.
As Chaos and Tenshinhan rushed to warn the other Z warriors, the confrontation between Goku, Vegeta, and Takagami entered a new level of intensity. The struggle for the fate of the universe was in full swing. A cosmic battle was raging on planet Earth, where darkness and light collided in a frantic dance of energy. Goku and Vegeta, the brave Saiyans, were facing Takagami, the Falcon, sacred god of darkness. The intensity of the combat resonated in the universe, and every movement threatened to tear reality itself apart. Takagami, who had increased his power, floated in the air with an imposing presence and dark aura. His eyes glowed with malice as he watched the Saiyans, who stood firm, prepared to defend their fate of the planet. In response to their enemies' increased power, Goku and Vegeta channeled their ki to the maximum, raising their power to the Super Saiyan.
"Vegeta, this guy's strong, but that only means that this fight will be even better."
Huh, of course, Kakarot. This is our time to shine.
The planet Earth vibrated with the energy released by the three contenders. The distant stars seemed to pale before the magnitude of the conflict. The clouds were dissipated by such a demonstration of power. Takagami, with his increased speed, lunged at Goku with a darkness-laden punch. Goku, using his elasticity and quickness, dodged gracefully, leaving a trail of flashes around him by the speed at which Takagami was lashing out with his nigh-speed punches. Vegeta, with a burst of ki, stepped between Goku and Takagami, blocking an attack that would have been devastating his fellow Saiyan. The shockwave from the collision sent debris in all directions.
I expected nothing less from you, sacred god of darkness.
Takagami defiantly unleashed a series of dark blasts towards Goku and Vegeta. The Saiyans responded with perfect timing, countering each attack with precise strikes and energy waves. The scene looked like a combat symphony, where every movement was choreographed with divine precision. Goku, with a twinkle in his eye, concentrated his energy on his hands. A bluish sphere of energy began to form, growing in size and luminosity. Vegeta, observing the familiar technique, smiled as he recognized the power that Goku was summoning. A colossal energy wave fired by Goku shot through the sky like lightning, hitting Takagami squarely. However, the darkness was absorbing the energy, and the Falcon emerged unscathed, laughing disdainfully.
Is that all you have, Saiyan?
While Goku was recovering from the effort of his attack, Vegeta launched himself at Takagami with supersonic speed. His fist slammed into the Dark God, creating a shockwave that shook the air. However, Takagami responded with a burst of energy that sent Vegeta backwards.
Ah! Damn, this guy's stronger than I thought.
Goku, recovering, joined the battle again. Both Saiyans, aware that they were facing a formidable enemy, decided that it was time to take the fight to the next level.
Vegeta, how about we show what we can really do?
Of course, Kakarot. Let's do it.
Goku and Vegeta began to accumulate energy around them. The atmosphere was charged with an intensity of their ki as they unleashed their advanced forms. Goku transformed into the Super Saiyan Blue, while Vegeta assumed his evolved form, the evolved Blue Super Saiyan. Are they taking each other seriously now? Goku and Vegeta, with their new forms, advanced towards Takagami with renewed determination. The speed and strength of the Saiyans were now incomparable. The impacts resounded like cosmic thunder, creating a symphony of destruction in the sky. The battle became even more intense. Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their movements, attacked Takagami with an impressive combination of techniques and melee attacks. The Falcon, despite its power, was overwhelmed by the ferocity of the Saiyans.
Final flash!
The bursts of energy, one blue and one golden, converged into a titanic explosion that engulfed Takagami. Light and darkness mixed in a burst of dazzling colors. However, when the explosion dissipated, Takagami emerged once more, his form slightly battered, but his determination intact.
His power is awesome, but I'm a god. The darkness cannot be defeated so easily.
Goku and Vegeta, without giving up, continued the offensive. The speed of his combat reached levels that defied comprehension. Punches and kicks were exchanged in a split second, creating a glow of cosmic collisions.
Big Bang attack!
Kaioken 20 times!
The energy exploded again, shaking the sky with its fury. However, Takagami, with his divine resistance, withstood the attacks. The battle raged across the cosmos, with the warriors disappearing and reappearing in flashes of light and shadow. In the middle of the struggle, Goku and Vegeta began to feel an overwhelming pressure. Takagami's darkness seemed to expand, defying even the limits of the most powerful Saiyans. Reality itself was twisting under the influence of dark energy.
This darkness is incredibly strong.
We can't back down now, Kakarot. We must get over this.
Both Saiyans raised their powers even more. The fight reached a new peak of intensity. The Saiyan was exploding like fireworks in the vastness of the night sky, lighting up the darkness with flashes of determination and defiance. Takagami, at the epicenter of the storm, smiled ominously.
Now you'll see the true power of eternal darkness.
The universe trembled as the battle reached its climax. The warriors were fighting for the fate of everything they knew, and the question that lingered in space was whether the light of the Saiyans could overcome the darkness of the sacred god. The planet Earth rumbled with the intensity of the cosmic battle. Goku and Vegeta, drenched in sweat, maintained their advanced forms as they prepared for Takagami's next assault. Darkness was emanating from his figure, but something seemed out of place. The Dark God's skin had a grayish hue, as if he had not yet completed the possession of its wearer. Takagami, with a guttural laugh, seemed to notice the perplexity in the Saiyans' expressions.
Surprise, Saiyans! I've not yet revealed all my power.
Goku and Vegeta exchanged puzzled looks. Something was not right, and both warriors felt it. At that moment, Takagami convulsed. A new form shook, as if he was fighting against something. An invisible force seemed to pull at him from within.
No! I haven't taken complete control yet!
Suddenly, a burst of dark energy enveloped Takagami, hiding him from view. The Saiyans were on guard, prepared for any surprise. Their energy in the air became denser, as if the cosmos itself was on the verge of transformation.
What's going on?
Before they could form any more questions, the dark energy dispersed, revealing Takagami's true form. However, what they saw took their breath away. At the moment of arriving at his true form, he let himself see the body he was possessing. This body was Yamcha's. Once the warriors saw that, Takagami completed his bird-headed humanoid form. But now the true form of the sacred god of destruction was clearly revealed. The falcon's head was clearly shown, with a defined musculature but a thin body, wearing blue Egyptian clothes with gold bracelets and a gold necklace. Huge wings which disappeared and appeared at their whim. Now Takagami had something going for him. He was playing against the Saiyan warriors. Not only should he defeat them, but they should also avoid harming Yamcha.
That's what Yamcha looks like!
Takagami's rumbling laughter filled the space. Now completely in possession of Yamcha's body, the Dark God was displaying a malevolent smile.
That's right, Saiyans. This weak body belongs to me now.
Vegeta gritted his teeth furiously.
Damn it! How dare you possess one of us? It's not just one Saiyan. Soon all of you will become Bahamut puppets.
The reality of the situation hit Goku and Vegeta, but the force of the cosmic impact, the dark entity they were facing, was not only a dark god, but also had the power of possessing earthling warriors. Yamcha, now inside the sacred god of darkness, did not have any sign of consciousness. The god had taken control of his being completely.
Ha 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 ha! There's no escape. Bahamut will be released, and this universe will fall into eternal darkness.
Goku and Vegeta shared a determined look. They knew the threat was even greater now. Not only were they fighting a dark god, they were also faced the possibility of losing their friends and allies in this fight.
Vegeta, we have to find a way to free Yamcha and stop Takagami.
Of course, Kakarot. But first, we have to deal with this dark god.
The battle continued, but now the situation was more desperate. Takagami, with Yamcha's body, unleashed an unstoppable fury. The Saiyans struggled not only against eternal darkness, but also against the weight of facing one of their own companions. Explosions of energy lit up the sky, but the inner struggle of Goku and Vegeta was equally intense. Every blow, every burst of ki resonated with the promise of freeing Yamcha and saving the universe from the threat of Bahamut. But Takagami wasn't going to give up so easily.
Do you think you could beat one of the World Eater's henchmen?
The dark energy intensified in the ultimate form of the sacred god of darkness. Now, the freedom to be able to use all his power launched relentless attacks. Goku and Vegeta, with their advanced forms, were fighting with all their might, but the darkness had a firm grip. The struggle dragged on. Every moment seemed like an eternity. Yamcha, although he was just a contender for Takagami, at one point during the fight showed signs of pain on his face. It was as if his very essence was fighting against the darkness that was consuming her.
Yamcha, hold on! Let's get you out of this!
But Goku's words were lost in the storm. Takagami, with a maniacal laugh, continued his assault. The Earth, witness of this cosmic conflict, trembled before the magnitude of the confrontation between light and darkness. Somewhere far away, Chaos and Tenshinhan, after learning the other Z warriors about the threat, returned to the battlefield. Seeing the situation, Tenshinhan's face filled with fury as Chaos clenched his fist determinedly.
Takagami, I'll make sure you pay for this.
Both warriors joined the fight, but even with their abilities, facing a dark god who possessed one of his own would not be so easy. The battle turned into a desperate struggle to face Yamcha and stop Bahamut before he was released. During the chaos, Goku and Vegeta shared a look of determination. The darkness could be powerful, but the light of the Saiyans would shine even in the darkest moments. The battle for the fate of the universe was far from over, and Earth's heroes were ready to face any challenges that stood in their way. Taking a trip to the past, one day before the strange artifact was impregnated into Goku's chest, after rescuing his son Goten, Yamcha, oblivious to the imminent danger that was coming, was exploring an ancient Egyptian pyramid during an archaeological expedition. The atmosphere was charged with mystery and the promise of amazing discoveries. Deep inside the pyramid, Yamcha stumbled upon an ancient artifact that was glowing with a dim light. It was an Egyptian bracelet decorated with intricate hieroglyphs. Fascinated by her beauty and attracted by an inexplicable force, Yamcha could not resist and placed the bracelet on his wrist. The moment the bracelet touched his skin, a strange sensation enveloped Yamcha. It was not painful or threatening, but rather captivating. An ancestral connection was established between the earthly warrior and the Egyptian artifact. What Yamcha didn't know was that this artifact contained an ancient power linked to the age of gods and legends. As the light from the bracelet merged with Yamcha, an ancient presence awoke. It was the essence of an ancient god that was lying asleep inside the artifact. However, this being was neither malevolent nor benevolent. It was simply an ancestral force seeking to join a mortal existence, or at least that was what Yamcha felt at that moment. The god, by merging with Yamcha, granted him abilities and knowledge beyond his comprehension. Yamcha felt with a strength and connection to the story itself. The fusion, although puzzling at first, resulted in a unique symbiosis between the earthly warrior and the divine entity. Yamcha didn't know what the bracelet actually was. Returning to the battle, every moment became more challenging for Goku and Vegeta and the earthly warriors. Takagami, now completely liberated, unleashed a destructive force that tested even the most powerful Saiyans. In an effort to turn the tide of the battle, Tenshinhan and Chaos joined the fight. Both warriors, aware of the threat possessed by Takagami, threw themselves into the fray bravely. His unique skills and determination added a new dynamic to the conflict, but even with his intervention, the darkness persisted.
Tenshinhan, keep the pressure on. We cannot allow this darkness to take over our world.
Tenshinhan nodded, concentrating his energy on coordinated attacks with Goku and Vegeta. Despite their combined efforts, Takagami remained a relentless adversary. As the battle reached its peak, Goku and Vegeta, exhausted but without losing their determination, shared a look of mutual understanding. They knew they needed an extra power to face Takagami at his finest. Instantly, an idea crossed their minds of the Saiyan's fusion.
Vegeta, I know it's not something you prefer, but I think it's our only option.
I don't like to admit it, Kakarot, but I agree with you. If we want to stop this monster, we need all the power we can get.
Both warriors assumed the necessary postures to perform the fusion dance. The energy of Goku and Vegeta intertwined in a brilliant flash, and within seconds, an entirely new warrior emerged. Gogeta in his base form, the supremely powerful fusion of the two Saiyans.
It seems the occasion requires it. Now, Takagami, get ready. So you think a ridiculous fusion will be able to stand up to my power?
Gogeta rushed towards Takagami with amazing speed. The matchup that followed was an unmatched display of skills. Gogeta dodged Takagami's attacks with grace, fighting back with overwhelming force. However, the darkness that enveloped the Dark God proved to be a formidable challenge. During the intense battle, Tenshinhan and Chaos continued to bravely fight, but the price of a confrontation was already becoming apparent. Takagami, taking advantage of the distraction, launched a devastating attack that left Tenshinhan and Chaos seriously injured. Goku and Vegeta, seeing their companions in danger, felt a surge of rage. Gogeta redoubled his efforts, attacking with renewed ferocity. However, Takagami, aware of the situation, diverted his attention to Tenshinhan and Chaos.
Feeling the despair, Saiyans? Soon this world will witness its end.
Goku and Vegeta, full of rage and determination, increased their speed. They knew they needed to do something before Takagami carried out his threats. The battle reached its climax when Gogeta launched a massive attack on Takagami, seeking to break his resistance. However, the darkness surrounding Takagami intensified, revealing a surprise resistance. It was then that Tenshinhan and Chaos, still on the ground, exchanged a determined look. They knew that whatever they had to do to give Gogeta a chance to defeat Takagami.
Goku, Vegeta, you need time. I'll take care of holding this monster.
I'll come with you, Tenshinhan. Together we'll be the barrier they need.
Goku and Vegeta, although reluctant to lose their friends, went at full speed to avoid what they had in mind.
Don't do it, Tenshinhan, Chaos.
Tenshinhan and Chaos stood up, ignoring the pain coursing through their bodies. With determination, they faced Takagami, resisting his attacks with all their might. Gogeta, seeing the situation, understood the magnitude of the sacrifice they were making.
We cannot disappoint this sacrifice. We have to win this.
While Tenshinhan and Chaos bravely fought Takagami, Gogeta continued his assault with the intensity intact. The battle was taking place on two fronts, with the Earth Warriors sacrificing themselves to provide the necessary opening. Goku and Vegeta, as he approached, their hearts were filled with sorrow and gratitude towards Tenshinhan and Chaos. Gogeta, with supersonic speed, approached the scene where Tenshinhan and Chaos were bravely facing Takagami. His gaze reflected the mixture of determination and regret, knowing that the sacrifices of his teammates were the key to victory.
Hold on a little longer, guys. Let's put an end to this.
The Saiyan fusion advanced towards Takagami, who, upon seeing Gogeta's arrival, stopped attacking Tenshinhan and Chaos to confront the fused warrior. The intensity of the battle reached a new level, with attacks and counterattacks echoing across the battlefield. Tenshinhan, with his remaining strength, took advantage of that distraction to hold Takagami with all his strength, preventing him from moving freely. His face showed determination and resignation at the same time.
Chaos, this is your chance. Make every second I hold this monster worth it.
Chaos, next to Tenshinhan, nodded weakly. His body showed the ravages of the battle, but his eyes were shining with all the will to do the duty.
Tenshinhan is right, Gogeta. The light will always prevail over the darkness. Remember that.
Goku, Vegeta, take care of our world. This is our last act.
At that moment, Chaos accumulated an immense amount of energy to sacrifice himself. Gogeta, who was very close, were hit by the shock wave of the explosion. Gogeta, recovering from the impact, looked at the place where his companions were with solemnly.
Your sacrifice will not be in vain, I promise.
After what happened, Gogeta raised his head and with an uncontrollable anger increased his ki in such a way that he made the battlefield rumble, making the stones that were in the place fly, making Takagami retreat only with the gusts of air that expanded from his being. In a panning from head to toe, we managed to see Gogeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue Phase 4, which showed the essence of Ozaru as a kind of aura in blue color, and a more controlled but much more powerful version, a transformation never seen, since they were not able to coordinate their powers to be able to reach said transformation. As Gogeta's energy transformed into a surprising and controlled version of Super Saiyan Blue Stage 4, a brilliant blue essence of Ozaru manifested around him, revealing unparalleled potency. The cosmic landscape trembled before the magnitude of this new form. Goku and Vegeta, witness of this unique transformation, were filled with amazement and determination. It was evident that Gogeta was reaching a level of power never seen before, fusing the essence of Super Saiyan Blue with Ozaru's formidable presence flawlessly. Gogeta, in his new form, turned an intense gaze towards Takagami, whose expression of confidence was overshadowed by surprise. The battle, far from having come to an end, was just beginning in this new phase. The universe was waiting for the outcome of this epic confrontation, where light and darkness collided in a cosmic dance. The promise of a new dawn loomed on the horizon, but the price of triumph was uncertain.
Well, guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now, don't forget to leave your powerful like, Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.